What's going on, everyone, and welcome to JDM. Now, I don't mean the Japanese domestic market, I mean this. Japanese Drift Masters. A whole new game that's just been released, and I bought it. I want to see what it was all about. I wanted to try and see if it's worth buying, right? So, in today's video, I'm going to go through a little bit of this game. The gameplay in the background should show you pretty much everything that I'm going to talk about in today's video. I'm kind of just looking around at different cars and all that sort of stuff, and obviously the art style and all that. So that's what you're seeing right now in the video. I'm also trying to see if I have ABS on and all that sort of stuff. I'm still at the very beginning or early stages of the game, so I'm still just kind of trying to get used to the driving, you know, the map, to just everything pretty much. So that's what you guys are going to see in the background. It's still part of, like, this part here is still part of the tutorial, but then you'll see me later on driving some other cars and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, regardless, I wanted to try and see how this game was. So like I said, I can give you guys a nice little breakdown or review of this game, as in like first impressions type of review of this game, because obviously since I haven't played this game for a long time, so I can't really give you like a full game review. But I do have an image of the actual roadmap for this. So this is kind of what this looks like, and I'll put it up on the screen obviously so you guys can see it. But it looks like this is still kind of an early access game. I mean, there's still stuff that they want to release more and more. Stuff like the driving school expansion and, you know, photo mode and stuff like that. I feel like that should have been already in the game. Arena rally events again as well. I do get that the whole point of this is to try and have post-launch support. And I get it. And it's cool. But simple stuff like, you know, like having photo mode, you know, custom vinyls and stickers. I mean, you know, I feel like that stuff should already be in the game. I know that this isn't a AAA game. I know that I'm kind of maybe asking for a bit too much for a game developer like this. But again, at least, right, at the very least, it shows that they are going to be adding and doing a lot of things with this game. They're trying to keep the life of this game as long as possible, even up to 9 months after launch, which is very, very good to see. I like when game developers do stuff like this, where they end up basically, you know, showing that they actually basically give a shit about the game that they've released, and they don't just, you know, bring a game out and then they release an update every 3 months like this game, and it's just, you know, bug fixes and that's it. You know what I mean? So it's nice to see that they have some sort of a view on expanding this game to more than just what it is now. So yeah, what do I think of it? Well, it's I want to say vaguely, but it is quite, you know, noticeably inspired by a very lovable anime, very lovable manga, Initial D. Everybody that, you know, is a fan of that will understand why this is kind of like a, not really like a copy, but it is very, very highly inspired by, I did say vaguely, but I meant highly inspired by Initial D. The map is lovely. I think the map is really, really nice. I think just the actual visual, you know, effects of everything, just how colorful everything is, and of course it's set in Japan, if you can't tell by the name and the map and everything else. It's beautiful. I think it looks really, really good. It's very high vibrance and very high, you know, saturation, so everything's nice and colorful. I like that. It's a nice little, like, difference to the game, and it's kind of cool because it kind of clashes with the way the manga actually is, because the manga itself, so basically the comic version of this, you know, which is kind of like in the middle where the story part of the game is being told, that's all black and white, right? And then you have this, which is just insanely colorful and bright and vibrant and all that sort of stuff, and it just kind of clashes with it, but it makes it as if, you know, they're kind of opposites, even though obviously part of the same game. Controls. What do I think of controls? Controls are, they're not bad. I wouldn't say that they're bad. I did turn off assists for like drifting and all that sort of stuff, and for whatever reason it still feels like I'm kind of a little bit assisted, as in like I'm going into a corner and I'm sliding, but my wheels are already steered, like counter steered, so I, instead of, you know, just leaving them basically straight, it just kind of feels like they're already counter steered for me, and I just have to kind of apply just a little bit more to be able to control the slide a little bit more. So again, it's not like, it's very easy to play with, by the way, when you're on controller. Maybe on a wheel it's a lot more involved and a little bit better, but on the controller it just feels a little bit like it's kind of helping you. which I don't really mind if you have the assists on, but I feel like if you have the assists off, it shouldn't really help you that much, right? As in, like, I kind of don't want the front wheels to steer for me at all whenever I have the assists off. And I'm not talking about assists like traction control and all that sort of stuff, because I already have that turned off. It's definitely always a lot more fun to play without traction control and all that. So every single time I start a whole new game, always turn traction control off, you know, ESP off, all that sort of stuff. I just want to have any sort of assist off. ABS, sometimes I leave it on, sometimes I turn it off. A lot of the time I just leave it on because I just mash the brake and it's fine. This game also has a clutch, which is actually quite useful. You can use it, of course, in slides and all that sort of stuff. I think the actual physics, like I said, the way the cars handle and all that, it seems fine. I like it. I think it's a simple game, like a simple concept. It's not made to be like a simulator or anything like that. It's not made to be anything crazy, but it does still follow kind of like the laws of just the way the cars work, pretty much. I don't really know how to explain it that way, but I think it will definitely get some getting used to when you're playing the game. But again, like I said, it still follows kind of like the laws of the way the cars work in real life, as in, like, you know, you counter steer, you accelerate, brake. It's not, it doesn't have like the Need for Speed-esque or whatever you want to call it, you know, that type of, you know, brake to drift and all that sort of stuff. It's still kind of, like I said, follows, you know, regular, like, you know, driving law, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to really explain it to you. It's basically a dumbed down version of the way the cars drive in real life. It's arcadey, yes, but they didn't like develop their own like system, you know, like Need for Speed did, for example, where the handling physics are just different to real life, pretty much. But the game, you know, does really well in trying to transfer over, you know, what cars do in real life. Except, like I said, a more dumbed down and very arcadey version of it. So I kind of like that. That's quite cool. I love, like I said, talking back about the visuals again. I love the way the map is on the phone. I think that's really, really cool. It's a cool integration to have your phone as the map at the bottom left. That is quite sick. Obviously, everything else is pretty. It's clutter free, which I really, really like. You only have like the little skill point thing that pops up on your screen where how good or how bad you are doing at drifting. That only shows up every now and then obviously, like I said, your skills at the top, you know, basically being shown kind of sometimes, like when you're sliding and all that sort of stuff, and that's kind of it. You don't really have a lot of stuff on your screen. Like, you have your money at the top right, and that's pretty much it. And then, you know, your dial at the bottom right, which, you know, obviously shows your speed, your RPMs. You have your NOS as well there, and then you have, you know, assists that you can turn on and off, even through the phone. You don't actually have to go into the settings to turn them off. You can just go into your phone and do it. So that's kind of cool. Now, lastly, I actually want to talk about more than just, you know, drifting in this game. It is called Japanese Drift Masters, but there are actually more than just drifting that you can do in this game. There's more things that you can do. You can do rally racing, you can do drag racing, and you can do grip racing as well in this game, which is very sick. And I hope that I can get to that point that I can show you kind of more. But during the end of this video, I'll show you pretty much most of that. The only thing that I didn't get a chance to actually show you is rallying, and it's because there's no, like in this tutorial part, there's no actual rallying going on. But there is a rally stage, which you guys will see close to the end of the video, where you can actually take a car rallying. And I took my S15 there because that's kind of the only thing that, you know, I really have to drive at the moment. So until I get like more cars, until I'm able to actually get, you know, some sort of a rally car, I just did that for the sake of doing it. Yeah, like I said, handling physics when it comes to these, pretty easy to kind of control the cars when you're drifting. For example, I'm drifting this guy's S14 here as part of the tutorial, and I'm trying to, you know, obviously get the points and all that sort of stuff. Then there's obviously, like I said, a bit of grip racing, which I've taken. Again, this guy's Evo. We're at the driving school, so that's why this is all part of the whole starting bit, the whole tutorial bit. So it's kind of introducing you to a lot of the stuff that you can do in this game. And it's kind of cool that it's not just the drifting, and it's not just racing up and down the mountain. You can, if you want, you can slow down and drive regularly and do all that sort of stuff. If you just want to explore the map normally, that is very, very nice. I feel like it's just something that, you know, that there is to do, instead of, you know, just, you know, go and drift and that's it. Which is something that I think Tokyo Extreme Raceway, I know that game is a classic, and obviously they've just brought it back, and they've used, you know, that name to kind of bring that game in. That game came and went pretty much, which was kind of sucky, because I kind of liked that game. It was kind of interesting, but again, it was very repetitive, and like I said, it just came and went. This one, I feel like, because it has a bit of a story behind it, and it doesn't have just the regular, you know, drifting in it. You can do a bit of grip racing, you can do, you know, drag racing and all that sort of stuff. It is quite sick. But that doesn't mean that this game doesn't have any bugs. Traffic crashes into each other every now and then. I've seen that pop up. This bit in the drag racing thing, also very weird. It's telling me to heat up my tires, but I can't actually go into first gear to heat up my tires. It's not letting me. So I'm kind of just stuck here, revving my car, and apparently I'm heating up my tires. And I'm also still in neutral. For whatever reason, it doesn't put you into first. It doesn't let me shift into first either. But obviously, you know, that's just me being an idiot, and I didn't do it. But again, like, if I skip over to the next one, you'll see that I'm just not spinning my rear tires. It was me to obviously heat up my tires to do that, but, you know, obviously it just didn't let me do it. And of course, accelerating, hitting the perfect shift point. This is taken straight out of the original Need for Speed games, like Underground 2 and Underground 1, where you have like the perfect shifting point. Like, it's just so similar to that when you're accelerating. So it definitely takes a lot from a bunch of different games and kind of makes it their own, which is, I don't have an issue with that at all. Like they could do that any day of the week, right? As long as it's implemented correctly and it's fun to use, that is perfectly fine by me, you know? But, yeah, I mean, what else is there really to say about this game? I'm going to try and play a little bit more of it. If you guys want to see some more videos on this, I may bring it back and actually show it. But, yeah, I enjoy the game so far. I think it's fun, you know, obviously getting introduced to a whole new game. Especially being a little bit different to your regular games, especially, you know, with the story and all that sort of stuff. It just feels like it's just slightly different. It's not really a game that we've had now in the past. We've had a lot of different types of ways that stories are being told, especially in racing games. There's not really a lot of racing games with good stories, or there's not really a lot of racing games where they even have a story, right? You just kind of, oh, here, go earn reputation and get money, and that's it, you know? Like, this kind of tried to implement a little bit of a story to it, which I kind of like, and it's kind of neat. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I just want to play more of it. I want to try to see how well or how badly I can do in this game. I mean, I'm down to try and make some more videos. Of course, I really want to try and, you know, improve on, you know, driving in this game, and of course explore the map, because this is Japan. A lot of people want a Japanese game where we go driving around. I mean, how many people have opted or have wanted, you know, have informed Playground Games for them to make the next Forza Horizon game in Japan? You know, like, so many people want Japan to be a location because it's just a beautiful place with amazing roads and an amazing car culture. So why would you not want to do it in Japan? You know what I mean? And this game kind of brings it out just before Forza Horizon. So if for whatever reason Forza Horizon decides to actually head to Japan, this game is now kind of profiting a little bit off of the wants of the Forza Horizon people that want the game to be in Japan. And then I feel like this game, like I said, is kind of profiting off of those people. So I mean, like I said, I'm enjoying this game so far. We'll see what it's like. I don't really know what sort of lifespan this game is going to have. I don't know if it's going to get repetitive quickly or not. You know, what will happen when people actually finish. I hope that there's, like, you know, multiplayer events that we can do. I hope that there's, like, you know, leaderboards that we can try and take part in. I feel like a lot of people will kind of enjoy trying to do that more than, you know, just playing like just the story version of this game. So like I said, hopefully there's more to this game than just, you know, the simple, you know, do the story and that's pretty much it, and then just drift around the map for a little bit. So again, I am looking forward to playing this game a little bit more. We'll see what we end up with later on. I mean, I can't really guarantee that this game is going to have like a long life or anything like that, but like I said, we'll just have to see what happens. For now, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This is my first impressions, little video review of Japanese Drift Masters, JDM. If you guys want to see some more videos on this game, let me know down in the comments below, of course. And yeah, I guess that is pretty much it from me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.